coming up on Nittany Game Week.
Honestly, I really can't describe it just yet. I mean, it all just feels kind of like a whirlwind.
PSU advances to the Frozen Four for the first time. How they're preparing for the biggest moment in Lions hockey history.
I just think everybody has a lot more confidence this year, and it's been showing.
The men's gymnastics team is also a national championship contender. What they want to accomplish at the Big Ten meet in Ann Arbor. And the football team is front and center with the former Nittany Lions working out at Pro Day and the current players starting fresh at spring practice. It's time for Nittany Game Week. The red-hot run continues in the Show Me State as Penn State heads to St. Louis for their first ever Frozen Four. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski.
And I'm Ryan Yee. They need a little bit of extra time to make it happen. What an incredible turnaround, though, for PSU as they make program history.
Our Impact interview is with the guy who will call the action for ESPN, John Buccigross. We'll get his take on the Nittany Lions coming up later in the show. We start our opening drive with the Roar Zone in Allentown. Unforgettable scene at the PPL Center as Penn State faces the top seed in the regional, Maine, to start off the weekend. It's Wear White night for Nittany Lions fans, and they show up loud and proud along the glass and in pregame around the concourse. Huge partisan crowd for the underdogs as they face the Black Bears. Last game for PSU was the overtime loss to Ohio State 2 weeks prior. They looked fresh and sharp in the first period, also very prepared. Look at them go to work on the power play. It goes around to the other side. It's J.J. Weebush, the freshman. Easy finish. 8 seconds into the power play, it's all tied up at 1. The momentum shift palpable later in the first. Look at the pass across the ice from Weebush to Matt DeMarsico. Top-notch shot to the top shelf. The sophomore goes over the glove shoulder. Remember that shot. Gorgeous play. It proves to be the game winner. Penn State skates Maine out of the building 5-1. No rust from the rest as they move into the regional final against UConn.
We've sort of been in playoff mode since January. And to just be able to have a weekend to breathe, I think they had a good time with each other. I think it was really, the timing of that was excellent.
I thought we were flying. Our staff does a great job kind of managing those weeks where we don't have games on the weekend. When we just buy into that, prepares us for the weekend.
Fantastic atmosphere on Friday night and a phenomenal effort from the team in their dominating 5-1 elimination of Maine. 2 days later, the stage is set for Penn State's historic win against Connecticut. The winner in that matchup would advance to the Frozen Four for the first time. And I spoke to plenty of fans excited, but also nervous as they remembered the regional final loss in Allentown 2 years ago to Michigan in overtime. Well, this is a new opportunity and a different team. Sunday showdown for a spot in St. Louis, just like they did against Maine. The Nittany Lions fall behind 1-0, waste little time tying it up. It's Dane Dowiak in front, flips it in, crowd on their feet. 2 goals versus Maine, another against the Huskies for Dowiak. Once again, Nittany Lions trail 2-1. It's not for long. J.J. Weebush, an uncanny scoring knack, holds an extra sec to clear the defender, finds some open net. His goal knots up the regional final at 2 apiece in the second period. It stays that way until the historic marker from Matt DeMarsico in overtime. Look at the move from freshman Charlie Serrato. Gets the behind-the-back pass. And remember the DeMarsico shot over the goalie's glove shoulder. He takes this one high as well over the stick shoulder. And it sends the PSU faithful into a frenzy. Sparks an amazing celebration all the way from Allentown to Hockey Valley. Now, caught up with Matt a few days later, the euphoria had not worn off.
I don't really think it's sunk in yet. I mean, guys have asked me, what does it feel like? I mean, honestly, I really can't describe it just yet. I mean, it all just feels kind of like a whirlwind. I mean, from the celebration to now, it just it's almost like a blackout. You don't really know kind of what's going on or what you're feeling. But, I mean, now that we're in the Frozen Four, I mean, just super excited and happy that I was the one who scored the goal. And it's just a cool moment I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Yeah, what a moment for DeMarsico to create unforgettable memories like this one. Former UConn goalie Arseny Sergeyev tackles Coach Gutowski to celebrate the win over his former team. They made sure to enjoy the W before beginning their preps for the Frozen Four. And here's how it sets up once they get to St. Louis. 2 wins away from a national championship. First up, 5-time champs Boston University College Hockey Royalty. 25th Frozen Four for BU. That's on Thursday, April 10th at 8:30. The winner of that one faces the winner of Denver and Western Michigan in the title game Saturday, April 12th at 7:30.
And there's another Penn State team that's doing pretty good themselves. It's a huge week for PSU Gymnastics. On the women's side, they get to play host. The NCAA regionals take place at Rec Hall. 9 teams over 4 sessions. 2 make it to the semifinal in Fort Worth, Texas. As for the men, they are national title contenders, but first have a Big Ten meet on the docket. The Nittany Lions head up to Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Big Ten championship meet this weekend following their first Big Ten regular season title in program history. Penn State now hopes to keep the momentum going and do something they have not done since 2019, win the Big Ten championship. The team is led by a handful of veterans, including senior Josh Carnes, who is a finalist for the Nissen Emery Award, which highlights the nation's top men's gymnasts. For Josh and the rest of the team, it's about capitalizing on the opportunity with both strength and momentum on their side.
This is definitely the most consistent, strongest team that we've had. So I just know that we have a way better chance than any other year to win this. I just think everybody has a lot more confidence this year, and it's been showing.
Momentum is huge for us, and the fact that we've had experienced guys step in and do well, and through the season, they're ready to go the rest part of the season here. And I think the thing that's most exciting for us is that that hunger is finally translated into results. And they think that they are really, really ready. And their performance has shown that.
Performances that will go up against some of the best of the best. PSU will take on 4 other teams in the Big Ten, all of which are ranked in the top 10 of the country: Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Illinois. As the winter sports pursue, though, their postseason goals, the spring teams are in the heart of their schedules. The softball team is finally back at home after logging some serious miles on the road. They open up a 9-game homestand against Bucknell. We go out to sunny and shady softball park, where the Nittany Lions host the Bison. They put on the power display early. Bottom of the first, Haley Brunson steps into the batter's box and drills one to the opposite field from the shade to the sun over the wall. Brunson jogs around the bases and is congratulated by her teammates at the plate. Dominant pitching performance from PSU starter Maddie Volpe freezes the Bucknell hitter for a strikeout, as you can see here. 4 shutout innings for her. Offense goes to work and ends the game in 5 innings with the 8-0 shutout. The next road game for the softball team isn't until Saturday, April 19th at Iowa. Mark it off on the pre-draft checklist. Penn State football players show out for NFL brass. After a quick break, we take you on the roadmap to victory for PSU NFL draft hopefuls. Nittany Game Week. We'll be right back.
Roadmap to Victory is sponsored by the R&R family of companies.
Well, welcome back to Nittany Game Week. In less than a month, players once wearing the blue and white will find new homes in the NFL.
Yeah, their journey continued last week at Penn State's Pro Day, where top Nittany Lion draft prospects, including projected first-round picks Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren, take the next step to the pros. Mark it off the pre-draft to-do list. Pro Day complete. One step closer to the biggest stage.
The New York Giants select Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State.
The Dallas Cowboys select Michael Parsons, linebacker, Penn State.
And this year, the tradition continues. No shortage of big Penn State names. For first-round projected players, Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren, who are all but solidified to be called upon on the special night, no workout needed.
Yeah, for sure, very excited, but it's also a grind at the same time, but it's something we're looking forward to, living in my dream, just taking it a day at a time. I feel like I'm just getting started. This is my first year playing a new position. I feel like I was the best at it. Not only I dominated at it, so like the sky's the limit for me. I just really feel limitless, just getting started. Just my overall impact on the game, my versatility, can play multiple positions. And I feel like most importantly, I step up when I'm needed the most. When crunch time come around, when you need somebody to make that big play, I feel like I'm the guy who makes that big play.
Just the dream of being able to continue your football career and play in the NFL is a big deal. So you do a lot of work to have the opportunity to even, be in a situation where you're going to be in the draft, right? So to go and that high is really cool, but I would just, be thinking about all the people that sacrificed to help me get to this point and all the opportunities that I've had so far.
But for other PSU prospects who hope to improve that draft stock, it's a day to show off their body of work. A pitch, if you will, on why a team should call their name in less than a month.
I could play with the best of them. It don't really matter where you put me at on the field. I could play inside, outside, it don't matter. I'm ready for my opportunity. Wherever you want to put me at, I'm ready to play.
I just want to continue to prove things to myself, not to anyone else. Just want to prove, who I am and who I thought I am, and just continue to better myself every single day as a man and as a football player.
Get all your money. Don't drop a ball. Don't leave a ball out there. Don't leave no money out there. And I caught every ball today. Did better, corrected myself from the combine, which I dropped a couple balls, but I took advantage of the opportunity and I attacked it.
I don't think people probably expected me to run that fast. I knew I was going to run that fast, or if they did, I'm glad I was able to mark that off their list, but I knew I was going to do that.
Scouts watch the workouts, players leave it all on the field. After reps are completed and notes are taken, players and scouts head their own ways, with the hopes of meeting again in the not-so-distant future.
I did not expect to be as winded as I was because I was the only receiver. So, yeah, but it was a great experience. I loved it.
I think it really helped me out a lot. I think, especially with my drills at the end, I felt like that was just icing on cake. I feel like I didn't drop any balls. I was pretty smooth in and out my breaks, fluidity in my hips. So I feel like today pretty much helped me a lot.
A last day to show out in State College to kickstart the dream that so many in blue and white have fulfilled. Each year, a sentiment that's encapsulated by Pro Day.
They did everything they could do, There really is only a couple programs, maybe 10 programs in the country, where you're going to train every day against this high level of competition in college, You're going to get the coaching staff like we have, the facilities that we have, see the people that we meet, guys from the next level coming down, talking to us, coaches, players, things like that. So I really think Penn State has gave me every tool in the toolbox to help me succeed at the next level.
Pro Day at Penn State is one of the most anticipated workouts for NFL scouts. A lot of former PSU guys on rosters all around the league.
No doubt about it. They would have sent even more, but a handful of guys chose to return to Happy Valley for another season. And speaking of which, we see the current Nittany Lions on the field for spring workouts. Seniors like Drew Aller and his classmates in the backfield, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. It's a ton of talent returning to see if they advance a few more steps this season and win the national championship. A heartbreaking loss in the semifinals to Notre Dame will drive this team all year long. But the games are 5 months away, and despite the familiar leaders back in the blue and white, there are a lot of fresh faces. Spring is to work on improving as an individual and as a team.
The old saying, you're only as good as your weakest link, so we want everyone to be strong and mentally ready for this game. But it's tough, in the spring to get these guys up to still have contact in today's times. But, it's the necessary thing so that we learn how to tackle. The game is still a physical game, and we're blue collar, so we want to make it physical.
For me, it's all the little things, technique stuff. Just watch more film, and Shot's been doing a lot of good things with me and all the guards in the room. It's just for me, like coming in every day with the right mindset, right work ethic, just being present and coming in, just working as hard as possible.
We're getting our first look at new defensive coordinator Jim Knowles doing a lot of observing. Coach Franklin says Knowles is a man of few words that lets his assistants carry out his instructions on the field. From the gridiron to the ice, there's no one better to talk college hockey with than ESPN's John Buccigross. He's calling the Frozen Four next week. Coming up, what he says is Penn State's best shot to win it all. More Nittany Game Week after this.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. For the first time ever, we're talking Penn State and the Frozen Four. And if you're going to talk about the Frozen Four, the guy to talk to is ESPN's John Buccigross, who's going to call all of the action from St. Louis. John, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate the time.
Great to be with you.
Look, we're going to talk about Penn State. I'm going to ask you about them in detail in just a minute. But first, the general event, the Frozen Four. What makes this sporting event so special and unique?
Yeah, it's my 12th. I've been at ESPN 28 years. Before I was there, I worked in Providence, Rhode Island. Weekday reporter, weekend anchor, and cover the local scene. And while I was there, the 1995 Frozen Four was there. I grew up around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Indiana, PA, Steubenville, and I was an NHL fan. Obviously, my dad was. I'd go to Pittsburgh for games once in a while, but I'd never come across the Frozen Four in 1995. So obviously, local sports reporter went and covered, and I just couldn't believe it. All the bands and people walking around outside the arena in sweaters from teams who weren't even there. It's like an annual pilgrimage. They go no matter what. Great if their team is there, but not always. And so that's when I first, caught the bug. This is a whole different flavor of hockey. And then luckily got to start to do the play-by-play in 2013. This is my 12th. And so it's just the favorite thing I do. It's just like a carnival atmosphere. It's really, again, like I said, a unique flavor of hockey.
Well, and blue and white fans are going to come. They're going to enjoy it, and they bring their own special flavor to it as well. And they're going to be really excited about it. Had no idea that this was even possible when you look back at Penn State's season, right? I mean, 9 games in the first 9 games in the Big Ten, no wins. How improbable is this? Almost impossible, really. And then how dangerous does it make them this time of year when you come from basically dead in the water to now you're in the Frozen Four playing with house money?
Yeah, it really is. That's actually a picture of the Miracle on Ice team behind me from 1980. It's kind of a miracle on ice. It really is. And to come from where they did, like you said, and obviously those teams are dangerous when they peak late. They have momentum, they have swagger, they have confidence. We see it in a lot of sports where teams have a huge kick late in the season. And so now they feel a little bit bulletproof, And so, yeah, they're a dangerous team to face. It'll be certainly a tough matchup for Boston University. They'll probably remind them of, obviously, it was a close game against UConn. And so Penn State kind of has a UConn flavor to them. So I think, that's what BU has to think about when they prepare for this game. Boston University has multiple future NHL players on the roster, many more than Penn State. So from a talent perspective, they have the edge. But again, in college hockey, it's about cohesiveness and believing in playing good defense. And that's what Penn State will need to do.
Well, and a hot goalie can take you really far as well. And Sergeyev has been fantastic. Look, my last name is Sadowski, so I'm partial to Coach Gudowski. Of course I would be. But what makes him the right guy for the job in Hockey Valley, right from the get-go all the way to now?
Yeah, to take over basically a club program, turn it into a Big Ten team. And I was there from the beginning. ESPN had a Big Ten contract for a while, and we would do 3 or 4 regular season games a year. And I was going to Penn State a lot in the early going, and I just couldn't believe the arena, the roar zone, how quickly they became one of the best student sections in the country, better than a lot of blue blood student sections, even to this day. So it's just amazing how quickly the vibe happened. Positive vibes everywhere. And he's just a Western Canadian likable guy. He reminds me of Barry Melrose. These people they're a lot like Central Pennsylvania. They're just so friendly and kind with big hearts. And there's not a surprise that he fits at Penn State like he does. The characteristics of Western Canadians and Western and Central and Eastern Pennsylvanians is very similar.
I love that comp. Barry Melrose, that's a great comp. I have to bring him up to him when I talk to him. But look, You mentioned BU. You touched on BU. And look, we're talking about an upstart versus one of the most tradition-laden programs out there, right? Been playing hockey for over 100 years. They're 25th Frozen Four, 5 national championships. Just gives you that even better dynamic to the story. You're always looking for great stories as a reporter or as a play-by-play announcer. This matchup as a semifinal is one of the best that you can have out there.
Yeah, red, white, and blue. It's going to be a great uniform game. And yeah, this would be the biggest win in program history, obviously. The Hockey East has tons of success. BU has 5 national championships. The Big Ten hasn't had a national championship yet since it's been formed. Imagine if Penn State's the first. When you're talking Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Nittany Lions out of nowhere, that would be another miracle on ice. So it's a great story. It could really culminate to be the first Big Ten team. Only one can be the first to win the Big Ten, a national championship from a Big Ten school. So that'd be pretty cool if it was Penn State. But yeah, it's going to take a lot. Barry always says, your best players have to be your best players. Barry's a Saskatchewan guy. Guy's an Alberta guy, but both Western Canadian, very similar. So I'm sure Guy would say the same thing, that the best players, like you said, the goalie especially, because they'll likely get outshot, have to be your best players. And that's what it comes down to.
love the passion John Buccigross has for college hockey. The Frozen Four is going to be a lot of fun for PSU. Make sure you go to NittanyGameWeek.com for all of our Impact interviews, along with other web-exclusive content like our depth chart. Still to come, sometimes it only takes one swing. Which women's golfer sinks a hole-in-one for the Nittany Lions? We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
Depth Chart is brought to you by Burke and Bradley Orthopedics. Located in Pittsburgh, Burke and Bradley Orthopedics is a comprehensive sports medicine practice, providing patients with the most current and innovative approaches in diagnosis and treatment.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. Check this out. Senior Drew Nienhuis with some hole-in-one theatrics on Sunday at the Clemson Invitational. From 148 yards out on 12, drains the ace with her 8-iron, her third of her career, however, her first ever hole-in-one in a competition. See her pulling the ball out of the pin there. It's also the first ace for the Nittany Lions in tournament play since Mathilde de Lavalade hit one at the Gator Invitational in 2020. Really cool to see. All right, and it's also time to talk about some standout Nittany Lions from the past week in our Nittany Game Week Dean's List. We start off in the world of track and field. This woman is blazing fast. In fact, the fastest 10,000-meter runner in school history. Florence Caron broke the PSU 10,000-meter women's record at the Raleigh Relays, posting a 33-minute time. She's among 4 others who also posted PRs at the event. On the men's side, Johnny Dwyer was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week. The freshman had 2 top 5 marks in program history in the 100-meter and 200-meter at LSU's Battle on the Bayou. In softball, Brooke Clausewitz is among the best utilities in the country, named by Softball America as the 6th best in the nation. The sophomore designated player is leading the Nittany Lions in a variety of areas, including batting average, hits, and OPS, to name a few. And last but certainly not least, we talked about his team earlier, and no way is the leader of the men's hockey team not getting a shout out here. Guy Godowski was named a Spencer Penrose Award finalist, given to the D1 Coach of the Year by the American Hockey Coaches Association. The winner will be named in May. Congrats to this week's Dean's List honorees.
We've had a lot of fun covering the non-football sports in Happy Valley as we've expanded the program through the winter and spring months. You can check out past episodes and interviews all in one convenient location. Make sure to check out NittanyGameWeek.com when you get a chance. The Frozen Four, going to be an awesome experience for the team and fans. For the entire Nittany Game Week crew, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.